Awkward business. Awkward business. Podcast.
Live.
Hello and welcome to the Awkward Business Podcast, an almost honest approach to business and life. Here with us today is Sandro Schindler, and of course my trusted partner Daniel Marty. I almost wanted to say Jordi. Is another friend of ours. Sina is missing. She's in Germany right now, enjoying some family time and doing some online courses over there. And we thought we're gonna shoot another episode. I hope you already heard the new jingle. You've seen we've added some nice soundproof padding, which works maybe 50%. But we just talked about this actually today, is about not waiting for something to be perfect until we start. So we just started again with no preparation.
Thanks for the invitation.
We heard something, right?
Yeah, Sandro really wanted to do a podcast with us. It was like his biggest dream to
do an unprepared podcast.
Yeah. And he really urged us to do it.
Yes.
So we said, Sandro, if you really want to do
it's
it,
an honor, really.
No.
Let's try.
Yeah, let's try. It's good. Yeah.
No, we forced him, of course, but nevertheless. So, Sandro, I'm very good at blah blah blahing, but not good at asking questions. But nevertheless, I want to ask you. You've spent quite some time with the topic of customer experience,
yes,
and helping organizations around that topic. First of all, why would you choose customer experience over anything else? Because you had quite a lot of rejections before you got the first job in that field. So why would you go for that?
Well, actually, it's always about the customer.
I'm like, hello. Sorry.
No, it's always about the customer. I mean, for what are you working for? What are you working for? I mean, it's always at the end there's a customer, and the customer has expectations to your business, to your company. So the target is always to make them happy, and that's it. So, but most of the companies I know, they don't do that really, really good. So I always compare it with, how was the name of this marketing dude? Manfred Brun, I guess. Do you know him? Yeah, Manfred Brun. So he had the three biggest lies in customer experience or customer orientation. It's, we call you back. Customer is always in the center, and we love our customers. So that's just not true. I mean, all of the companies, they say those things, but they are not true, because at the end of the day, when a project, it comes really to this point where they have to speak money for it, or so, customers always lose, or the customer orientation always lose. So it's important that this not happen in the companies. That's why I'm here. Yeah. Try to help.
But you said customers always lose. But why? Why do you think it is that you said that there's these three lies, and I had to smile because it's kind of true, right? Like on a certain level. Why do you think that is? Why do you think why do you think companies are not more focusing on the customer or the customer experience?
Well, it's sometimes it's difficult to measure the customer experience. So they don't have a clue what's the actions for a better customer experience, what they, at the end of the day, what that means to the cash flow of the company. So most of the customer experience managers, they struggle to put a number behind the effort they do in the company. And that's why the managers don't have an eye on it, because at the end of the day, they say, okay, for what? So I guess that's a problem.
But is it the problem that the managers don't know the customer experience or don't want to know the customer experience?
Oh, good question, actually. I don't know, but sometimes they don't want to know, for sure. They're not interested in, or say, yeah. Or I know how it works. I deal since 30 years with customers. I know exactly what they want. And they change all the time, the customers. Business changes, so it's not the same like 30 years ago. Other side, maybe they don't have the time or the muse to really dive into this topic. I mean, it's a lot of work at the end of the day. You always have to do things they are not comfortable. You have to think about how you produce your product, how you make like a service. You have to take it out in every single step and think about what is good there, what could we do better for the customers, and how we earn money at the end of the day. So, yeah.
I mean, the very interesting thing about it, I know it from myself, is you start with a project, you have a budget at the very beginning, and then you start spending money. And then at some point, you're about at 80% of your development, of your service. You run out of money, and you try to get like the last 20% out of it, and then you go live. No money left, no time left, no energy left, nothing left. That's how people are doing projects. And then if someone comes to you and says like, yeah, but the customer experience is actually not that perfect. You don't want to know. You don't want to hear because you don't have any money anymore. So what do you do then?
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be on this point. Customer experience should always be from the beginning within the project. So the classic approach is, I have a big idea. I have a great idea to do a product or a service. And then you start like programming or develop it. And then at the end, you realize, fuck, nobody wants it. And it shouldn't be like this. So you should go from the customer perspective and say, okay, when this is the problem, and how can we solve this problem from the customer with our service or our product? And then you have, from the beginning, always the view of the customer in the project and your development of the product or the service.
Okay, and when should you get involved then?
From the beginning.
From the very beginning?
From the very beginning.
Okay.
Always.
It's interesting that even though I think most people would agree to that, like, oh yeah, of course we should put the customer in the center and like creating. I think what you said is the one thing is the budget or something like that. But for me personally, when I think about it, it's also the ego, right? If I have a good feeling or like if I think, yeah, that's great. I don't want to hear that it's bad because it makes me maybe insecure about what it is I want to create. So like when you said the customer experience always has to be in the center, I'm thinking of like, maybe I'm wrong, but sometimes you also need to trust your intuition that something will be good, but maybe not, maybe I'm just thinking out loud because I work a little bit differently sometimes. I think like, okay, I just have a feeling that this will work and then I give it a try. But then again, I think from that moment on, probably I should think about what the customer is, how the customer is perceiving it, or not only think, but actually ask.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a fear of feedback, man. I think people are afraid of feedback. Well, I am.
I hate
I hate feedback too, like on some level.
Yeah,
like on some level. Of course not. Like on a spiritual level. Like, but if we're just completely honest, like it hurts to hear that something doesn't work out or some. So I think like who's gonna hire? Like only people who are extremely far in their personal like self-development or organizations who are quite far, they actually think like, okay, I'm going to put my ego aside and I will actually hire a guy like you, like to come in and really give us a mirror that is just like basically customer feedback. I'm like, oh God, I don't want to hear it. There's a lot of political stuff that you might activate in such a situation.
Oh, yes, especially large companies have that because everybody has his garden. Nobody should touch it, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you're the guy who just wants to make the tabula rasa, just clean everything, and now we start again, and that hurts always.
Yeah.
And you said something like feedback also hurts, and the customers, they give you feedback.
Yeah.
Honest feedback straight into your mouth. I mean, how do you say that?
In the face. Yeah.
In the face.
Anyway. yeah, lost in translation, but nevertheless, I think people got the point. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Straight into your face, and this hurts as well because when you really fuck up. Wow.
Counter. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways.
When you really fuck up, that they say it, and and you should give them a reason why they should stay with you. And most of the companies fail in those points because they can't. They are not able to take this feedback seriously. They just say, oh, what an asshole, and hang up. But that's not the point. They should say, thank you. And now, how we can solve this problem? And how can we make sure that this never will happen again? But especially in big companies, it doesn't work, unfortunately.
But it's also a lack of transparency, right? If I, for example, if I have a new tool or a new app or something new, and I want to put it out because I need feedback, I just put it out. It's like 80% developed, put it out and see what's happening outside. And you get feedback. You get feedback from people, yeah, looks cool, but, blah, 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 bam, 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 bam. And people really have like hesitation to also put something out and tell people like, guys, it's only like 70% done. We just put it out as a prototype and let's see what is going on and how you react to it and stuff like that. Then you always get the feedback like, yeah, come back if you're done. It's very difficult. We're a society, we have like huge struggles to look at things which are not 100% done, because then we say always like, oh, come on, finish it first and then you come back. And if it's done, then, it's like, it's a real struggle there.
I think what you say is it's a totally different mentality. I mean, you are like the startup guy, right? And it's okay for startups at the moment that they just have a product 80% done, they go out to the market and say, okay, give feedback. But like big companies who already rule their business since years, they are not able to, even if they say, now we are creative, now we are innovative, it doesn't work. I mean, they don't have an approach like this. They are afraid of put things out and just see what happens.
They also get torn apart by that, by doing that. It's just the case.
So how can bigger organizations do it then in a way, or bring more customer centricity, or create a better customer experience without risking this, because they need to come up with new products.
Yeah.
So what is a good way to do that?
For me, is one of the most important points is the culture. So when you enable the people or the staff, the employees, whatever, to have this mindset that they have like an impact on the experience, that's mostly enough. That they just know what they can create and what it is in the whole experience of a customer. We always have those people who say, I'm not in a direct customer contact, so I cannot do anything. And that's not true. Everybody in the company can. That's really important. So this is like the mind shift. That's one of the most important things. And afterwards, I think it's also the leadership culture. When you create like rules and all this organizational stuff, who actually blocks the innovation, the customer orientation, and the doing, it doesn't help anymore. So we need like more new structures in those companies so that everybody can do what he actually can do. So just put in your full potential, right? You understand?
And if it comes to like you've done a pretty big customer experience, or you've done especially one that is very, very big in a big organization. And I would be interested in hearing, on the one hand, two things that really worked, where you say like, oh, that was a real, but let's start with the more fun part. Two things that you realize is like, these are the biggest mistakes that you can do when you create a customer journey project or a customer experience project, or you want to move your organization more towards that space.
Whoa. Yeah.
Let's start with the two worst things that one can do, or what happened as well.
When you think you can say to all the people what they have to do.
Okay.
I mean, look, there are always, like I said before, I mean, you don't need the structures and everything like rules and say, look, you have to do this. It doesn't work because the people, they are already in the front. They know what they have to do, but you have to give them the space that they can do it. So it's always better to give them tools. Say, look, we have these things. How can we help with them? Yeah. So what do you need from them? Or where do you have any construction work to do? But don't say them, you have to do it like this or like this, because I know really what customers want. This doesn't work. So you always have like, a blockade. Yeah. What else? There are so many things, but I can't remember. You always forget it. Yeah.
Quick question, guys. Isn't the Awkward Business podcast a little bit not awkward enough these days?
What do you mean?
It's a bit too much business. No?
I don't know. I've never been to the Awkward
I
Business
found it
interesting.
So it's interesting. I actually found it quite interesting to hear, and I think Sandro said some stuff that I would say go out of the norm that one would say, you know, what is proper to say as a consultant. But please feel free to challenge with questions.
Why are you doing that?
What?
Why are you doing customer experience stuff?
Well, I had a discussion.
I'm sure we have many listeners who are like that. Fuck you! I want to know. Fuck you, Daniel. I want to know those two other things, but we'll come back to that. No worries. But please proceed with the question that Daniel asked.
You know, you are all day long. You are a customer by your own. So when you go to the restaurant, when you buy something or whatever, you are always a customer. And for me, it's like, it really hurts when I see people who don't like the job. So eyes open when you choose your job, please. Because, I mean, when they are when they have direct customer contact and they have like a shit face and they don't care about you as a customer, that hurts. And so that's why I want to help. I want to make things better. I want to make people happy at the end of the day. So that's why I'm doing it. I want to do things better, that they really can be rock stars when they have customer contact, or just be a good company with good products. Yeah.
Do you have that? How do you feel
about customer experience?
Yeah. If you see bad experiences.
It hurts me. It really pisses me off as well. Yeah. But I get an emotional experience if. But I think in general I react very strongly to unhappy people. It gives me a strong reaction, and if I react strongly to unhappy people, then I react strongly to people who wear a very thick mask every day, like who are. And so that's, I also don't like this super, hey, grüezi, how are you? You know, like this, I also
it's
don't.
Not natural.
No, it's not natural. Also this American way of customer service, I think doesn't work here in Switzerland especially. So I have a strong reaction. to customer service not done well, it makes me uncomfortable. It really makes me uncomfortable.
What about you? You just say fuck you guys and never come again?
Yeah, I lose a little bit interest. Yeah. I'm pretty much fuck you guys. Yeah, it's just like, oh, you know what? It's just I lose interest. I never go there back. It's just.
And you know, I mean,
I don't want their interactions anymore. It's just I want to get rid of it.
And I would say that's like 95% of the customers.
Yeah.
When you really fuck up as a company, they say these things. They never come again. But I want to help. So
exactly.
I mean, with this perspective, I just try to help and say, hey guys, think about that. So I don't slam the door. I try to open it and say.
But then, how do they react mostly? Let's be honest. When you say that, yeah.
Oh, I'm not responsible for that.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
You are.
They shut the door, right?
Yeah.
Are you also that guy who like writes the reviews online?
No.
No. Are you the guy?
No, I don't. Like, I started many bad reviews, and I was like, dude, come on.
Let's not fuck this.
But it's also not very. But from your perspective, it's actually it's true. It would be worth it if you write it not angry, but even maybe angry would be useful for them. But most companies that get bad reviews, they don't care because it's already in there, as you said, in their culture and their mentality. Absolutely right.
And they go on the hate train, right? If you get
ego
like,
versus ego, I sometimes read through those Google reviews. Like I just organize yoga retreats sometimes, and I just read through other yoga retreats, and I'm like, oh god, like the conversation, because yoga teachers are supposed to be like more or less relaxed. But if I read to those yoga, like it's a problem everywhere. Even people who work on their ego, like yoga teachers, probably especially them, I don't know. But it's crazy how those back and forth also between clients and things. Just say thank you for your feedback, and we really try our best. And we're going to try to reach out, but like to explain why this experience happened, it just makes it worse a little bit. I feel sometimes
or please get back to us. We want to know more about your case. It's not possible that you were here. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, please don't just leave.
Even if it's true, you lose. Yeah.
We couldn't find you in our client database. Blah blah blah. It's just, oh please.
But then you're a real loser when you write things like that. But I mean, the point is that a lot of companies don't even know that other people write about them. So, I mean, 20 years ago, when you have like unsatisfied customers, what do you think? How many people knew about his bad experience? Guess.
When you had an unsatisfied customer?
Yeah,
just a family.
Maybe
like 10 people.
Exactly.
Like at the end.
And today?
Yeah.
What is today?
Probably 100. Like factors of talent.
More. I mean, you have now social media and all the stuff. You have TripAdvisor. I mean, it's like everybody knows about the shitty service or whatever, and the companies are simply not aware of it. That this has like such a huge issue on their reputation. And I mean, how many people really go into the contact with the company and say, hey, it was a shitty service? From 10 people, how many? What do you think?
1 or 2.
1 or 2 maximum. The rest just says, fuck you, and go away. So you cannot learn from them. So that's important. So when you have those 2 customers who are not satisfied and they say why they are not satisfied, you should say thank you and ask why. Then you can learn. But don't go into a war with him and say, oh, it's not true, and sorry, blah, blah, blah.
Most just don't want to learn, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I know that from myself.
What do you think? Why?
Because
too busy, no time for customer orientation and all this stuff, yeah.
You just think like, oh, come on, it's not that bad. Like 80% is okay with it. You know, it's not that bad. They should just read the emails properly. You know, how hard can it be? It's a little bit like that. Like, I don't care. I don't have any budget anymore. I don't want to develop more stuff. I know that feeling from myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like I get the feedback.
sad.
Daniel, you should also not only accept credit cards, but also Twint and Stripe and what is the other one? Like blockchain.
But there is many demands, right? Like this, like how do you know which ones you should actually satisfy and which ones not? Because something that like it's probably impossible at a certain point when you have a certain size to please all the customers all the time with every feature. Like how do you?
Yeah, you should know the value of each customer. That would
Yeah.
be great. I mean, there are a lot of companies who have things like that they know at least what the revenue is from the customer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah, I mean, you can focus just on the A and B customers. You can, but I mean, the amount of people who are not satisfied with you and they stay, I think that's worse. But when they leave, in a way, maybe that's better for the company. But yeah, it's a good question. I don't have, how can I say, an infinite answer for that.
Or a definite answer. Yeah.
I mean, I also don't want to get on that hate train, you know? Like people are doing like using your service and then they think like something is not really okay. And do you have to get like defensive like right away? Like, oh shit, yeah, you're so right and we should have done that better and differently or stuff like that. Or do you just say like, you know, this is a service. It's okay or very okay for 80% of the people. For you it's not okay. What should you do then? Just leave it or just say like, yeah, you know, we focus on the 80% or do I need like success rate of 100% or where should I be?
What's your goal at the end of the day? What do you want to reach with your strategy?
Earning money.
Earning money?
Yeah, but that's a good point, right? Like a lot of like we're now thinking of those maybe 10% things that people mention that are very individual or something. But there is certainly, I think, what you said. Like you can, if you think about it more, you get underlying topics. And if I think about us, I'm also like, ooh, I'm sure if we would really go through, there would be certain underlying topics that we would also find out. So maybe we should do something like this as well. Maybe.
We should definitely do
Yeah,
it.
for sure. Especially when we create a new website, we should do it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're so on it.
All right.
What was the other question?
Yes.
To answer?
So, two shitty things that happened during the project and two things that you're like, yes, that's what like two of the biggest learnings from that project. So one shitty thing you said, if you go out and you just put it on the people that are actually in the field and you just tell them, you will need to do it right now like this. I know what the customers want, but actually you don't, because many details are unknown and you need to help them, coach them more than just give the solution. What else?
It's the moment for me to interrupt again. No.
Just another one.
Yeah, I think you have those momentums in companies where you really can make an impact.
Yeah.
But those momentums are really short.
You mean moments? Or you have a certain momentum that you create.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have really to make the impact then. Don't the attention will flow away. There are other cases, there will be new people in the company and suddenly the focus changes. But when you have it, then you have to do everything you can just to go into this moment and change so many things and so fast.
Yeah.
I never had that, or sometimes I really fucked up on those things because I just had too long and couldn't bring it to the ground. Yeah.
And what were two things that really went well, or something that you say like?
Yeah, I mean it's the complete opposite. When you go to people and say you have to do this like this, just show them the answer of the customers.
Yeah.
Film them, make interviews, and just show it to the people. And don't fake it.
Yeah.
Show them also good interviews, but also show them unsatisfied customers. It's wow, this is like the really game changer when they just see people and they say, yeah, I don't know why I'm still with this company, because they don't give any value to me, or they would say, wow, this guy was great because he did this and that. But that's true, you know, and then you see what people really think about you. So that's always great when you can provide really real interviews. Yeah, that's great.
That's cool.
And also when people do things great in your company, you have to show it all the time, because we in Switzerland we're always like a bit it wasn't that big deal or so. Yeah, it is. You did well, and you made this customer really satisfied and happy, and he said thank you because he wrote an email or whatever, or said it to your boss, and then you have to share it because it inspires other people. You know, when I see, okay, Kai did that, oh, I wanna have this feedback from my customer as well, so maybe I get inspired from his actions and you get inspired from my actions. So always share those things, not only the failures, also share what you have done really good.
Tue Gutes und sprich darüber.
Yes.
Doing great things and talk about it.
It's so simple.
Awkward.
Yes, I think it's a perfect time to call it, if that's okay for you.
Absolutely.
If that's
Do you
okay
want
for
to tell a
you.
joke? Or?
We could have in every episode. We could have. Do you have a joke? I hate. Like I'm. Fuck no. I'm not.
Hate
telling
jokes.
you. No, I hate jokes. No, I'm not. Yeah, I think it's a joke selling. I don't
Okay.
love it at all.
We had a good one today. The FF Gelaksje of Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Good. Really good with that.
If you stuck until the end, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, Sandro,
Thank you for having
even
me.
though you weren't extremely passionate about doing this podcast, you did it and you stuck it through.
Okay.
Thank you, Daniel, once again. I hope Sina is somewhere and hearing this. Hope you're doing well, and until the next time.
Bye.
Bye.